Hey guys, so about a year ago, I went from being very unmotivated, not productive, never getting anything done, just laying on the couch not doing anything, to becoming productive, getting my life together, being motivated to get stuff done. And in this video, I want to talk you guys through some of the things I added into my life, some of the techniques that I use to make myself much more productive, much more motivated and disciplined. So my productivity and my discipline hit its lowest a little over a year ago when I had just finished college. Now, to explain a little bit of my college story, during the last year of my college, I found out that the previous 2 years, none of those credits had transferred over. So in order to graduate on time, I had to do way more credits a semester than I should have. I had to catch all of that up plus do the current semester's work to try to still graduate as close to on time as possible. Now what happened is, as soon as I did graduate, I was like, I'm gonna chill a little bit, I'm gonna relax, and my plan was just take kind of the week to relax, not get into anything, just relax. Well, that week turned into 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks turned into a month. That month turned into 2 months. And it was just a season where I would go to sleep, I would wake up super late, I would go to work, I would come back, I would just play on my phone all evening, then I would go back to sleep and I would wake up, do the same thing over and over. I wasn't doing anything with my life, I wasn't being productive, I wasn't being disciplined, I was just being lazy. So I knew I needed to change, I just didn't know the best way to change and what to do. And I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across the guy named Jocko. Now, Jocko's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he talks a lot about discipline. And one of his big things about discipline is that discipline comes from beating the morning. So he talks about if you beat the morning, you get up early, you have a productive morning routine where you get up and get going, that drive will carry out throughout the day. So you get to something that becomes hard, you want to become lazy, you want to just sit down and chill. You can be in the right mindset to say, no, I don't need to chill, I don't need to stop. I already beat the morning, I'm just going to keep going, I can do this. So that would be the first thing I would say, having a successful morning routine. Now I think the exact time you wake up and what exactly you do in the morning doesn't matter as much as getting up when your alarm clock goes off. If that is 6 a.m., if that is 4:30 a.m., it does not matter. Get up when that alarm clock goes off and get something done. Whether that's getting up and making all of your meals for the day, whether that's getting up and getting to work, whether that's getting up and working out, whatever it is, get up, be productive, and that is how your day should start. Being productive, being disciplined, and that will carry on through the rest of your day. The second technique I added into my life that really helped me become disciplined and productive was my daily checklist. Now, my daily checklist is divided up into two different parts. The first part is a simple to-do list. And the to-do list is nothing new, nothing creative, but my mindset for the to-do list is when I write something on that to-do list, I'm gonna work as hard, effectively, and quickly to get that off of my to-do list so I can get onto the next part of my to-do list. So the mindset for the to-do list is very important. It's not just a place to write down everything you need to do, it's a place where you can work through everything, step by step, get through it. The second part is certain things I need to do every single day. Now, I think everyone can do something a little bit different for the daily things they should do, but for me, some of the things that I really want to make sure that I get done every single day is, the first thing, I really want to make sure I am either reading or learning something new. So learning can be watching an informative YouTube video, listening to a podcast, reading a research journal about something specific. Basically something that gives me knowledge, gives me a skill that I can continue to work on and improve my life going forward. The next thing I do every single day is cold exposure. So whether this is an ice bath, whether this is a cold shower, whether this is going outside during the winter with shorts and a t-shirt on, whatever it is, it's doing some kind of cold exposure, and this is to get me uncomfortable. The next thing I would do is social media. Now I call it social media, but this is basically hosting social media or working on something specific to social media. So whether that is filming a YouTube video, filming a reel, whether that's writing a script, whether that's editing, something like that. I need to do something with that every single day. My devotions is another one, and this I'll talk about a little bit later, but spending that time getting close to God, reading the Bible, praying, all of those things are extremely important to me. Morning sun is another thing I want to hit every single day. It's getting 5 to 10 minutes of sunlight right in the morning before 9 a.m. Whether that's going on a walk, whether that's just sitting outside, but getting that morning sun is extremely important. And then some kind of HIIT cardio or very high intensity cardio. So whether that's sprints, whether that's fast jump rope, whatever it is, just really trying to get my heart rate up to really strengthen my heart. So these two parts of my daily checklist are extremely important. Knocking things off my to-do list, and then making sure there's a set amount of things that I need to get done every single day. Now I kind of already mentioned this, but the next thing is I have to do something uncomfortable every single day. Now you saw this on my daily checklist, and this is cold exposure. This is something very uncomfortable, but it's making myself do something hard in order to get myself ready to do other hard things throughout the rest of the day. And the fourth technique that I added into my life was that I focused most of my energy in producing versus consuming. Now some examples of this would be if I'm just sitting and scrolling on Instagram, I'm just consuming, right? I'm watching reels, I'm seeing posts, things like that. If I'm just watching YouTube videos, I'm just consuming. Watching Netflix, just consuming. Playing a video game, just consuming. Producing would be writing workouts, creating YouTube videos. Producing would even be making food, working out, because you're producing results. So I should be focusing my energy more on producing than consuming. I can consume, but it should be a lot less than I am producing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I do try to read or learn something every single day, and that would be part of that consuming, and that is okay, but when you are consuming, make sure it's intentionally consuming something in order to learn. So when I go throughout my day, when I'm consuming something, I'm watching a YouTube video on something I want to learn, whether it's on editing, whether it's on working out, something I'm trying to get information to help me produce later on. So even when I'm consuming, the majority of the time I'm consuming, I'm thinking about what I could produce later with that information and knowledge. And the last but most important thing would be spending time with God, spending time in the Bible. Now this is not to say this is a new thing. I've been doing this kind of on and off for my whole life. I do really struggle with the consistency of this. I'll go through times where I'm really consistent reading the Bible, praying to God, and then I'll go through times where I'm not as much. And so this year I've really tried hard to stay consistent, to really be in His Word, to really spend time praying. And this has less to do with being motivated, being disciplined, being productive, and more has to do with when I'm reading the Bible and praying, my life turns around and I live more for God than for myself. And that is obviously way more important than how much you get done in a day and how successful you are and how much money you make. Because at the end of the day, who really cares about those things? Because once you die, you're not bringing money with you. Once you die, God's not going to care how many things you checked off your checklist. God's not going to care how early you got up. God doesn't care how hard you grinded, how hard you worked. He's not going to care about that stuff as much as He cared how you lived. And did you live for Him? And were you striving to love God with all of your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself? Were you going out into the world and talking about Him? Were you helping the people around you? Were you building a stronger relationship with your family and really trying to disciple them and the people around you? Serving Him. And most importantly, were you spending the time to read the Bible and build your relationship with Him and pray and live according to His character and what He expects from us? That's what He's going to care about. He's going to care about that and how you put your faith in Him, not about how much you got done in your life. So that is why I said it's the most important, because while it is important to be motivated, while it is important to be disciplined, while it's important to be productive, it is not anywhere as close to how important it is to believe in God, believe that He came down, lived a sinless life so that He could die on the cross for everything wrong that we have done so that we can be with Him and spend eternity with Him. Now, the last thing I want to say is, do not try to add all of this stuff into your life at the same time, because most likely what's going to happen is you try to do too much and then you end up burning yourself out. There's too much new things to learn, too much change in your life, and you end up not doing any of it. You might stay strong for a week, you might stay strong for a month, maybe even 2 months, but eventually if you add too much in too fast, you're just going to stop doing everything. And that's not getting you anywhere closer to your goals. So instead, what I would recommend is adding 1 or 2 things a month and slowly go from there. That way it's attainable. You have that month to really dial in whatever you are adding to your life, and then you can go from there and continue adding things until you have a whole list of things that are helping you become more productive. Alright guys, so I want you guys to go down in the comments and comment either which one of these things you think will cause the most results in your life if you add them, or if you are doing these things, which have you seen affect your life the greatest. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.